US President Donald Trump hosted Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir for lunch at the White House, declaring, and I quote, "I love Pakistan," and insisting he averted a war with India, despite New Delhi bluntly repudiating his claims of mediation. Trump's lunch meeting with Asim Munir preceded a phone call he had had on Tuesday night with Prime Minister Modi, in which he invited him to stop by in Washington, D.C. on his way back from the G7 meeting in Canada, suggesting efforts at mediation, which the US president had promised or claimed at various times. India has swatted away the offer, the mediation efforts, saying Pakistan and India had a bilateral mechanism, which is what averted an all-out war. But just listen in to what Donald Trump had to say, followed by Michael Rubin's remarks.
The reason I had him here, I wanted to thank him for not going into the war, just, ending the war. And I want to thank, as you know, we're working a trade deal with India. We're working a trade deal with Pakistan. And they were both here. But I was with Modi a few weeks ago. He was here, actually. But now we speak to him. And I'm so happy. There was a deal that two smart people, plus, they have people on their staff too, but two very smart people decided not to keep going with that war. That could have been a nuclear war. Those are two nuclear powers. Big ones. Big nuclear powers.
Remember that during World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt talked about Joseph Stalin as a close ally. This is diplomatic rhetoric. It's not reality. Everyone sees Pakistan for what it is, except perhaps for Donald Trump. So, while Donald Trump and the commander of U.S. Central Command may whisper sweet nothings into Pakistan's ear, it's because they want something from Pakistan. What I'm arguing is that nothing which we could gain from Pakistan is worth the price of having Pakistan as an ally.
And joining us now is senior journalist Lalit Jha from Washington, D.C. for the insider details as far as this lunch date is concerned. Mr. Jha, as always, thank you so much for making time for us. This White House lunch date has everyone talking amid an unfolding geopolitical game involving the US, Pakistan, Iran, and India. But why did Trump walk the distance and actually call Asim Munir for this unusual meeting? Does it signal more than just routine bilateral engagement?
President Trump's invitation to Pakistan Army Chief General Munir for a luncheon at the White House is quite unprecedented, quite unusual as well. You can term it a diplomatic coup, but it reflects multiple points. One, President Trump believes that it is in national interest to bring Pakistan on board for multiple ways, for multiple reasons. One, to create the trust deficit between Pakistan and China, which China, as you know, is Pakistan's, they claim this all-weather threat. The trust deficit, they want to create that pledge. Secondly, he wants to impress upon Pakistan, ask Pakistan to stop any support to terrorists or terrorist groups, which Pakistan has been doing against India. India, as you know, has always insisted and is put the condition for any talks on Pakistan, there has to be no support to terrorism. And India, as you say, the talks and terrorism cannot go together. So from President Trump's perspective, he needs peace in South Asia if he has to achieve his larger goal of taking head-on China. So that's why he wants India's development. For India's development to happen, Pakistan needs to keep quiet, have a cooperative attitude, approach with India, and not indulge in any cross-border terrorism. That's only one of the important points. Second point would be about getting some help, assistance from Pakistan in its effort or armed actions, military actions, if any, against Iran. These are a few important points, but it also is reflective of Pakistan's state of Pakistan's democracy, right? It is reflective of the poor state of Pakistan's democracy, where the elected leader has not been invited by the US president. Instead, he has opted to talk to army chief, which shows who the real ruler in Pakistan is, and what's the status of elected leaders of Pakistan.